y'all, me again. So I was wondering if maybe we could talk a little bit more about the anatomy. And this time I decided to completely cover up. You can see a little bit of my arms. If you find any of this offensive, you're welcome to move along. But today we need to talk about the anatomy. Now listen, I'm not a doctor. I live in the United States of America, where you can't just go to the doctor anytime you have questions. Even if you have insurance, you might not be able to afford to just run off to the doctor. And so yes, a lot of us do have questions about our body, especially our current body. And we may not be able to go get those medical answers right now. And also, what do you do? What appointment is that do you make? Do you call a doctor and say, hey, I need somebody I think maybe I'm from a whole different, did my heart move? I mean, and then assuming you have insurance, is insurance going to cover that? So those of you who are demanding proof, you're might gonna have to wait a little while. And frankly, that's fine, because I think most of us who are going through this, and especially those of us who are talking about this, we're not talking about it because we want you to believe us. We're just talking about it because there's some crazy stuff going on, man, and people need to know about it. And if you don't want to know about it, that's fine. But I think we need to talk about the anatomy. Specifically, I think there may be some anatomical signs when we shift, or that we are shifting. Because after my first video, people were talking in the comments about some of the symptoms and stuff they've been having. Now look, a lot of this stuff can definitely be chalked up to other stuff, like you're getting old. You're just getting old. And I'm sorry to tell you that. But some of this stuff might be chalked up to you just shifted onto a whole other planet. You just shifted. And I'm sorry to tell you that. And who really knows? But like I've said in other videos, the more we talk about this stuff, the more we learn. So I'm going to share with you my experience. And if you have anything similar in your recent past, let's talk about it. So I think I started shifting or whatever around 2008. Because that's when I woke up one morning, taking a shower, I washed my face, just like I always do, and I freaked. My eye sockets were completely sunken in. It was so weird that I thought when I got out of the shower I was going to see some horribly deformed eye sockets. It was scary. And I looked all right. I mean, I thought I looked the same, but I called a friend of mine and I was like, hey, have you noticed my eye sockets are like sunk in deep? Or are your eye sockets sinking in? And he was like, no, you're fine. You're probably just getting old. I said, okay, that's probably true. And then a couple of years later, I woke up one morning and there was this huge dent in my forehead. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't see it, but it was huge. And I hadn't done anything the night before more exciting than just read a book or something. And so, well, first of all, I Googled it. And one of the first things that came up was alien abduction. And I thought that was actually kind of funny and kind of interesting. There wasn't really much information for it. I just woke up with a huge dent in my forehead. I mean, and it was so big, I could stick a nickel in it. A nickel. So I took a picture, sent it to another friend, and said, have I always had a dent in my forehead? And she said, oh, well, actually she called me and she was like, oh, okay, it's Sunday, so you're going to have to go to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room because I was a little freaked out. I told everybody in the emergency waiting room it was possible that I had just been abducted by aliens, and everybody thought that was funny. So, I mean, overall it was a good experience. They did like tests and MRIs or whatever on me. Totally fine. Nothing wrong. The dent kind of comes and goes. What else? Okay, so about 2 years ago, really bad. I know I'm gonna sound like a hypochondriac here. I get that. I don't care. At this point, I really don't have much dignity left. So, about 2 years ago, I know horrible pains in my side. Really, really bad. And I did go to a few doctors for that, and they couldn't really find anything. But once I woke up, that pain just stopped, went away. And in fact, a lot of the stuff, a lot of these things I'm talking about, as soon as I woke up, they went away. And that's one of the things I want us to talk about. Have y'all had that experience? Also, oh, when I was like 36, I started having, I thought, like hot flashes and dizzy spells. And it would I mean, it was exactly like what people call hot flashes. And in fact, I went to the doctor. She said, you're probably perimenopausal. Like almost menopause. It's like 36. I said, okay. I haven't had any of those hot flashes or dizzy spells since I woke up. Also, let's see, about 6 months ago, my shoulders, my back, shoulders, back there, that killed me every single day, all day, no matter what I did, even if I didn't do anything. It just really, really hurt. And I sleep on this really cheap air mattress that I had for years. But I thought maybe that's the problem, right? Or I'm getting old. But as soon as I woke up, my shoulders don't hurt anymore. But also, too, for like the past 6 months or so, maybe a year, I've been feeling like my shoulders are, every time, honestly, okay, here's the truth. When I walk by store mirrors like that, I look at myself, I'm like, are my shoulders sticking out? Is there something wrong? I felt like there was always tight, just painful, tight. I just felt like there was something weird going on back there. And this is way before I knew about the Mandela Effect. There's probably some other stuff too. My basic point is this. I wonder if there are like physical symptoms that you're shifting. And if maybe we could talk about some of the symptoms that we've had pre-shift, post-shift. Well, if perhaps we might just come up with some answers. What do you think?